Enough is enough, bling. What do you have to say about that?
I think we're at a point in Nigeria now where people, especially young people, are kind of realizing that it's okay to be fed up with the way things are, and that not just being fed up, it's actually also important. It's okay and it's important for you to speak up about the things that you think are going wrong. Because the truth is, the only way change, especially drastic change, comes about in any society is really when young people trigger it by just being frustrated and showing and speaking up about that frustration. So everything that you hear, Light Up Nigeria, Enough is Enough Nigeria, Cool to Vote, Bling, and all these things are all just different bodies that are all fighting for the same thing, which is a better Nigeria. Because the truth of the matter is, if we don't do that now, Nigeria will be worse for our kids. The same way, Nigeria in some instances is actually worse today than it was when I was younger. It'll just get progressively worse. And so change has to come, and it starts with us all deciding that change has to come. So that's what that's
we all know that the media has a lot of power, and you're obviously very active, just like you've mentioned. Besides what we all know you to do, as in all the organizations that you've participated in, what have you done as an individual to make change happen?
Let's see. I mean, I think individually and using some of these platforms that I'm involved in, I do everything from writing blogs and writing articles. I make music about change. One of the songs on my album is a song called Why, which we're hoping to shoot a video for, which is very ironic because at the time I made the song with Cobams, who's produced some of the songs on my album, and I was inspired by the killings in Jos, which actually not the killings this year, but about a year and a half ago there was this outrage and killings in Jos, and it drove me to want to create this song. So we made the song in the studio, and then it took a while for the rest of the album to come together. And then a year later, the killings repeated themselves. So when people heard the song, they're like, "Oh my God, it's like you foresaw it." And I'm like, "No, I didn't foresee it. It just keeps happening over and over again." So for me, it's important to do anything that's within my reach, which obviously is music, which is the power of media, which is the power of having a certain number of fans that follow you. So I have a blog that people tune into, and I speak on. I joke sometimes, but I also speak on serious issues. I write articles that have been published in the media, not just online, but in the print media in Nigeria. I make music about what I think is going wrong. I shoot videos about what I think is going wrong. We had a rally recently in Lagos, the Enough is Enough rally, where we walked from somewhere in Maryland to the government house in Ikeja, and they had the similar rally in Abuja, just to kind of voice our protest. And I think these are the things that really spark change. And I don't want to keep going too far into this, but it's not just about the artist really. It's this is what I can do as an artist, but everybody as an individual has something to do, even if it's as simple as just making sure you register to vote and you get people in your immediate circle to feel like it's important to do that. Because until we come to that point where everybody feels like that, then it'll just be some of us out here shouting and nothing is really going to happen.
Just to touch on the Enough is Enough rally, I did cover the event. I watched it live, I updated everything. But
you watched it online?
I watched it online. I watched it live, and I was like posting pictures. I connected with Bengash's song and the guy from Blink and a couple of people. I just have to mention the fact that some youths are kind of reluctant with joining the movement because they're scared. I guess they still have that backward mentality that the youth cannot make any change,
Right.
So what do you have to say to those people? How can you bring them on board?
Well, what I would say is a couple of things. It's important to note that throughout history, it takes really brave young people or young at heart people, even when it looks like, let's take Martin Luther King. That was a time when black people were being shitted on, excuse my language, in America, and it was dangerous. People were losing their lives. People were being locked up. But they felt like change had to come, and so those people started at that time to be like, you know what, screw this, we're not taking this anymore. So we're gonna march, we're gonna talk, we're gonna speak out, we're gonna go on TV, we're gonna go on radio, we're gonna keep talking and keep moving until change comes. Now, the thing is, change doesn't happen overnight, and people need to understand that. So just because I may get a couple 100,000 people to believe in it and register to vote, maybe it doesn't happen right away, but it's important to start. Big wheels turn slow, but they turn. And that's the mentality, and that's what we have to remember. So yes, we're frustrated, and yes, there have been years and years of nothing going on, But also the reason that continues is because we're complacent. Like the reason these leaders can keep doing what they do is because they know we're not going to do anything about it. But now, you know, we're getting, I mean, just look at Light Up Nigeria alone. It got coverage on CNN, the Enough is Enough rally. You know, we're starting to shake the system, and the more we do that, the more we'll see change happen. And that's the thing, is this is all about taking back the power that young people have. You know, IBB, first of all, should not even be able to run for presidency again. I'm sorry. He didn't leave anything in Aso Rock when he left before. Yeah. But aside from his presidential aspirations, he actually went on and said there are no young people capable of leading Nigeria. And there was there was like no backlash on it. And that's because young people are in a state of, we're just passive. And that mentality has to change. Everybody has to feel like it has to change, and then it will. So
I have to touch on MAGA No Need Pay, the video. It's done a lot of positive things. At the same time, you know, Nigerian people will always have something negative to say about it. Yes. So some people have said that, you know, the video is not portraying the right image. Everybody can, they for some reason they feel like the video says that you have to be in the entertainment industry in order to kind of be would you want to be or be successful. What do you have to say to those people?
Well, the MAGA No Need Pay situation is kind of interesting. I think I'll point out one of the other bigger negative feedbacks that we got off of it before I address everything in general. Some people felt like, oh, you know, why are the artists focusing on Yahoo? Why are they not talking about the government or, you know, whatever else? Like, why is it this one that they are concerned with? This is how the boys on the street eat, and so on and so forth. Now, I think it's important to note that everybody, I'm almost 100% certain that almost everybody on that song and almost everybody that's an artist in a mainstream level in Nigeria now has songs on their records, on their albums that speak about change. So you look at me, yes, my first two singles were Strong Thing and Lagos Party, but there's a song called Why that's very deep and it's on the album, and by God's grace I'll be able to shoot a video for it. So people need to understand that, you know, just because an artist uses a song to sell an album doesn't mean that the person has not spoken out. You know, so that's number one. Then number two, I think the concept, you know, if you listen to the words of MAGA No Need Pay and you follow the story behind it, the concept was everything, the lyrics basically told you what the song was trying to say, and it was that you don't need to do negative, illegal things to be successful. That's the message of the song. Now, in the video, they showed different things. Yes, they showed me by a swimming pool, because they showed different parts of being successful. You know, they showed me, you know, by a swimming pool with the beautiful girl, just to be like, this is one kind of success. And then they showed MI with school children, talking with them, marching with them, having fun with them, encouraging the youth. They showed Modele and Omami, I think, in a music studio, which, by the way, Modele was even pregnant, I think, and about to give birth or something when they did all of that, but she was going through all of that just to kind of get this message across. So I think, you know, people will always have something negative to say about, if you're doing something worthwhile, there will be some critics, and that's okay, you know, that people will, everything is subjective, you know, but I just pray that that message, you know, nobody's trying to attack somebody who feels like Yahoo was his last choice. I'm not necessarily attacking that person. I'm attacking the concept of corruption, of doing something illegal to be successful. I don't think it's necessary. I didn't have to do it, and I feel like there are other ways to be successful. And that's the message of the song. So, you know.